Everybody, it's a little after 1300, 1 p.m. here in San Francisco. Wherever in the world you are, welcome to show number 586 for Tuesday, the 24th, almost through January, Julia. Hard to believe.
I don't know how that happened.
Well, it happens. Julia Vadekant, the Commodore of the Beach Street Yacht Club, my co-host and landlady here. We are in Studio B as usual. Welcome to the show. We've got an interesting... maybe a cover-up, this ETNZ capsize, nosedive and capsize, and then they, for some reason, didn't include it in the spy video. What are they trying to hide? What do you think, Julia?
I don't know, but...
One never knows, but we'll find out soon here. We're into the pre-start. The Toronto Island Sailing Club has been our customary slide of late. Let's get into it. Belated Happy New Year. The Year of the Rabbit, if you celebrate the Lunar New Year, the Chinese New Year. This lady does. We're delighted to have her on the show for a little bit of Year of the Rabbit greetings. Lily Zhu.
Lovely.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. I'm Lily. I just wanted to wish you all a happy Lunar New Year. Looking forward to seeing you at some of the events all over the world. And since China has opened the door after 3 years with COVID, I'd like to welcome you traveling around China and see the real country, which is not always what you hear from the news. And finally, I would like to take this opportunity teaching you some Chinese. The first one is Happy New Year. 新年快乐. 新年快乐. And the second one is Good luck in the year of rabbit. 兔年吉祥，兔年吉祥，新年快乐，兔年吉祥。
Is that cute or what?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes, absolutely.
Lily Zhu, Golden Lily, as she's known, wishing us all. Mm-hmm. Now, here we go, Julia. Tu Nian Zhijiang. I'm not sure if that was even close. Good luck in the year of the rabbit.
That's my year.
A little bit of Mandarin there from Lily Zhu. Now, I'm going to feature Lily, Julia, because she is the real deal. This is her winning, just after winning the Laser Radial Gold in 2012, kissing her deck. I have to be careful how I pronounce that.
Yes.
And, of course, she is the wife of our esteemed Fozy, Super Fozy John Emmett, who coached her in, I guess, both in 08 and in 12. And Lily, of course, Asia's first dinghy sailing gold in 2012. She was bronze in 2008 in Beijing. And it's a pleasure to have her on the show again. She is a super sailor by all accounts. Bronze, as we said, in the Beijing Olympics 08, gold, and China's flag bearer for the closing ceremony, London Olympics 2012. That was quite an honor. She's the author of Golden Lily. We featured the book on the show a couple of years ago, almost 3 years ago. Asia's first dinghy sailing gold medalist. There was a gold medalist in the sailboard and the windsurfer, I think. And of course, she was 2012 Sportswoman of the Year. Bravo Zulu to her and her continuing achievement. She's now quite an accomplished sportscaster. And here is a little bit of a video from about a year ago on Lily Zhu.
Hello, I'm Li Jiaxu. My English name is Lily. I'm a Chinese laser radio sailor. I've been done 3 Olympics in Beijing, London, and Rio, and I won a gold and got a bronze medal as well. At the moment, I'm studying in Solent University in sports broadcast journalism. When I started sailing 21 years ago, very few Chinese know about this sport. That's why when my optimist coach approached me and my parents, we have no idea what this sport is. And it was not until 2008 when China hosted the Olympics, and then Qingdao hosted the sailing event, that people get to know more about the sport and realize, wow, there could be exciting action on the water as well. And also because China won a gold in windsurfing, following by my gold medal in London. So nowadays, more and more Chinese not only know this sport of sailing, but also try to learn or pick up sailing, especially lots of young people. The biggest challenge sailing on the water I've experienced was in 1999, only 2 years after picking up sailing. I remember before going out on the water, our coach told us, don't worry, it's just look a bit cloudy and windy, but all the sailors feel quite scary because it's more than windy. And then after we set out, the wind kept increasing, and we were sailing way out to sea, and then there's no land in our sight. And then at one point, I remember the wind increased to up more than 35 knots. It's more than we can manage or handle the boat well. And what's more, the coach boat capsized because of a huge wave. The swell is about more than 5 or 6 meters, and then we have to sail back ourselves. And then I remember I couldn't help crying myself because I was not so experienced at that time. And then I couldn't see the land. I don't know what to do, and then we don't have the assistance from coaches. So after 3 hours battling with the storm and huge swell, we finally managed to go back to the beach before the dark sets in. So that's probably my very first challenging experience in my sailing career. I think it taught me that everything has 2 different sides, and sometimes it's sunny and shining, and then light wind, enjoy the positive side of the nature, but also we need to learn how to deal with the negative side of everything. I think sailing is very good in terms of teaching us how to be an all-round person, both on the boat and in life. My favorite moment of my sailing career is no doubt winning the gold medal in London, because I feel I performed very well in the last race in Weymouth medal race. Before the medal race, 4 sailors from 4 countries is actually laying on the same line, because we're almost equal in points. Whoever wins the last race will claim the gold. It's a lot of pressure and then all around me, but I managed to handle it well. My sailing hero is Sir Berners-Lee. he not only won 5 Olympic medals, but also I like his book very much. I remember one of the things he said in the book is that all the events I go, my rivals can only fight for silver, which heavily boosts my confidence. My motto is hope for the best, prepare for the worst, because we always want to aim for the higher goal, but at the same time we need to prepare for the worst possible scenario. So whatever happens, you will stay calm.
Nice video courtesy of the Royal Yachting Association. And I don't know why your federation, our federation, maybe they do, but ours doesn't, do features like that on top sailors.
Yes, it
What
was
an
wonderful.
what an
Yeah.
inspiration for young sailors, men and women,
And old sailors too.
and old sailors too. Let's go back. We've got a lot of comments on here. Julia, look, I have a comment screen for you today too. You see that up on the?
Oh goodness!
How do you like that?
Wow.
So if you're reading a comment, we can put you in the PIP, the picture-in-picture. Greg Phillips is on from the Gold Coast. Smith Gordon is on in Denmark. John Emmett, of course, is with us. Ed Worley, thanks, John, for your help in preparing. He didn't know I was going to do that segment, actually, but he did get Lily to do the video at the top. Alan Long, hi. He's down in Texas, Lago Vista, the long view, large view. Where James Frederick Bland is also in Texas. Now, Emmett caught, see that, Julia? He caught that I misspelled on the show notes. Rabbit, R-A-B-I-I-T. He's
Yes.
the only one who caught that. Or at least he's the only one who commented on it.
I saw it immediately.
Joe Holtzman, Estes Park, Colorado, has made his first submission to the show. Hi, Rob Fry is just joining us from Auckland. John Lamberts Van Buren is in Holland now. Okay, he's usually in Holland, but he moves about a fair bit. Who else is on here? Jody Shields. You see what he's saying, Julia? Hop to it. And the year of the rabbit. And John confirming he coached her in 2012 and 2016. And yes, she was also the World Sailor of the Year, along with Sir Ben, her sailing hero, in 2012. You saw her in that video with that. Here, I can put that up there. You saw that with Sir Ben at the IY, what was World Sailing, I guess, or was it ISAF?
Yeah.
Still ISAF then, but the 2012 World Sailor of the Year, along with Ben Ainsley. Saw that in the video. Yeah, I don't know the lack of notification. That's a technical issue that it was my fault here preparing the show. I know why that happened, so it was not a problem of Facebook or at your end or YouTube. Welcome, everybody. I will also say that there is a video I want to commend to you. Ian Walker, who was the racing director, the director of racing for the RYA a year ago, April of 2021, almost 2 years ago now, on the RYA's YouTube channel, he had about a 14-minute interview with Lily, and I commend it to anybody. I happened across it this morning, had not seen it. I listened to all 14 minutes of it while I was preparing the show. Julie, you would really like it.
Yes.
I'd go back, anybody, and watch it because
it
was informative, it was inspirational. And again, I don't know if your federation does these kinds of videos, but ours doesn't. They tried when Josh Toza was there. He started to try to do some of these things.
Right.
But I don't know why we don't interview top-notch sailors on our national federation and pump out YouTube videos left, right, and center.
Right.
It's easy to do. It's fun to do. It's not expensive, yada, yada. Filmed in Lily's study. That is, I guess, the video she sent us, and John sail. I commend this to you. It's on the RYA's YouTube channel. Go back and have a look. Now, Lily, if you're interested, this photo, courtesy of Pedro Martinez, Sailing Energy, has been doing a lot of commentating. She's mostly in Chinese and Mandarin. For instance, for the ocean race, John tells me she is doing commentary for China only in Mandarin. It's restricted. It's geo-blocked to China because, for obvious reasons. But cool stuff. And she is a really good commentator, right up there with Jody Shields. And I commend her to you. And of course, she studied it at the University of Southampton in the UK. In-demand sports commentator these days. She was on this show I went back and looked at this, her segment at least in the show on the 21st of October, or February rather, 2020.
Mhm.
She was a popular live guest. We had 6.8 thousand views of that show so far, and they go up.
Yes.
They go up with each passing week. Terrific guest she was on the show. And she may have been on one more time, Julie, because didn't she announce on this show that she and John had gotten married? Because for a while it was kind of,
Oh, yeah.
it was on the QT,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I think they decided
Two together they did. Did they?
yeah, maybe it was. I can't remember, but cool stuff happening. And Ted Ryman checking in. Hello from Cape Town. Stingrays. Uh-oh, this may be a dirty joke. What do you call a happy rabbit? Okay, that's clean. Optimist. Okay, Julia, what day is it today? Here's your first clue. You recognize that saint? That statue? You've seen it.
Yes.
It's in Rome. It's in Vatican City. That is the statue of St. Paul. That's your first clue, what today is. We'll see if any of the Brits get this. It's a bit obscure. Now, there's your second clue. You know what that is? It's not the cliffs of Dover. They're not white.
They're not, that's exactly what I was thinking.
It's the cliffs at Land's End
Aha.
in Cornwall,
Aha.
out in the southwestern corner of England. And today they celebrate Paul Pitcher Day. I kid you not.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about a baseball pitcher. Quirky as it may seem, it celebrates one of the most important events in Christian history, which is the conversion of the Apostle St. Paul. The Feast of the Conversion of St. Paul is celebrated in different ways across different regions. However, the peculiar way of this English county of Cornwall has become what is now popularly known as Paul Pitcher Day. This is
there a picture involved?
there is a pitcher. We're coming to that. In fact, in the background there are
Oh, yeah.
traditional Cornish pots,
Yeah.
which serve as beer pitchers. In the English county of Cornwall, as we mentioned, which used to be home to tin miners, they celebrate a new season of mining and
Sailing.
along with the eve of the conversion of St. Paul by setting up pitchers in public places and throwing stones at them until they break. A replacement pitcher is brought, I think is what that is, brought and filled with beer, and the people drink from it throughout the day and repeat the celebration.
Oh, that's it.
Doesn't that sound appropriate?
Oh, yes.
Traditional Cornish pots. This peculiar form of celebration began as a rebellion against the rule of only allowing drinking of water. Only water during working hours. The people will either line pitchers up and throw stones at them or hurl them against the walls or doors of community members' homes, yelling, "It's Paul's Eve, and here's a heave."
Gosh.
Old Cornish tradition has it that Jesus Christ himself went to Cornwall with his uncle Joseph and laid the foundation of Christianity in those parts. I'm not quite sure that's true. Now, Julie, you got to admit, that's kind of a cool tradition.
It is.
Had you ever heard of Paul's Pitcher Day?
Never.
Nor had I. And we could have done other things perhaps more auspicious. But when they mention sailing, and when it's talking about, beer, this is, after all,
Oh, yes, the
the
sailing.
drinking show with a sailing habit.
Yes.
So I thought we'd dedicate that segment to all of our British friends and, of course, Jody Shields. Paul Pitcher Day.
That's a great color.
That's what today is. Just a show note, on Friday, as we told you last Friday, we will have the esteemed Commodore, the new Commodore of St. Francis Yacht Club, Bo Froelich, will be our guest. We're going to talk about his yacht. You can see there in that image, Mayan, the famous Alden schooner, which was for, I think, 40 years, your former boyfriend's brother's boat.
Right.
Cros. Who was he?
David Crosby.
David Crosby. Well done. David Crosby, the brother of Julia's former boyfriend in Carpinteria. They grew up, I guess the Crosbys grew up down in
Carpinteria.
Oh, not in Santa Barbara.
No.
In Carpinteria, where you're from, which is a suburb of Santa Barbara, sort of.
It's older than Santa Barbara.
Oh, I beg your pardon. John Emmett is saying, I noticed that St. Patrick's Day is on a Friday this year. Okay. Julie, we're going to have to celebrate.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yep.
Stingray's asking, what did St. Paul convert to? Alcoholism. No, he was He was actually anti. I read, we all know the story, if those of us that are Christians at least, but I read a fair bit more about the story of him converting from being anti Jesus Christ, anti that whole movement, to then seeing the light, so to speak. This guy is a cool guy. He'll be with us on Friday, Commodore Bo Froehlich. He just became Commodore last Tuesday of the St. Francis Yacht Club. Let's get on with today's show, and we'll get you to the starting line with our cannon from last year's Sydney Hobart, the current edition. That gets us to John Emmett with the Coach's Corner. And those of you who are drinking on the whether or not he is clean-shaven today.
Anybody's guess.
Well, no, I can tell you he's not.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the Fozy. Here we are again. It's Walk and a Talk. First of all, happy Chinese New Year. A little bit late, I guess, and of course my wife, dear Lily, will say it better than I can. So I'm here on my rib, and I'm just gradually walking to the boat park. Very pleased if I don't fall in the water, although it might make the average number of views go up. Anyway, smarter goals. Time for quick recap. And then next month, it will be time to grow. And it will also be possible we have a little tiff, but I'll keep you updated on that. For now, we're going to finish our smarter goals. And to keep it in context, today our goal is very simple. We're doing downwind in light winds, marginal surfing conditions, which is a key area we need to improve for the Hague. And it's something Abru and I will work on one-to-one. So lots of downwind, then I tow her all the way back upwind, lots of downwind. We're going to do, wow, around 2 hours of that, I guess, if all things go to plan. So that's our very clear objective. And then in the morning, it was something like a 2-hour cycle, which is building the aerobic fitness, and also a little bit about weight management, which will, of course, contribute to that improved performance downwind in the lighter areas. But quick recap for smarter goals. Just hopefully somebody's going to let me in. Not sure if you can hear that. Oh, come on, beep. Obrigado. Thank you very much. Right, so I'm safely in the club now. So smarter goals from the very beginning. We have S for specific. So we don't just want to go faster, we want to go faster on a specific leg of the course, in a specific wind condition, specific wave state. This is the sort of things we need to look at. We measure it, we write it down, we record what we're doing, and we agree it. Yeah, especially important if you have a training partner or squad, and I'm a big fan of the squad system. You want to have people you work with who have different strengths and weaknesses, so you can all improve together. But you need to agree that training, and it needs to be relevant. So the fitness is probably one of the most difficult ones sometimes, because you need to make it relevant to sailing. So you may love to do the CrossFit because it's lots of fun doing all those explosive movements and muscling up, and it gives you a big sense of achievement. But if you're fundamentally in an endurance sport, is that the right thing for you to be doing? Maybe you need to be doing the 2-hour bike rides. So that's the first R I need to remember, because we have a second R coming up. And then we're going to need to time things, because it might not be relevant to win your first ever Ilka 6 regatta. You'll notice if you look at the Europa Cup series, you'll have a lot of people there, 15, 16, first ever year. Fantastic series, really big participation in a lot of events. But then in 10 years, it may be realistic to be winning medals at Olympic Games, but it takes time. And that's why time is so important. There need to be exciting goals, because the Olympics, it's a long road, and you need that enthusiasm to get the best out of yourself and the sailors. If you're not motivated to put in the hard work, then it can be really hard. Oh, we have some background wavers. It's a nearly empty boat park here. In fact, I think the only person actually rigging a boat is Abru, so it's nearly time for me to go on the water. But you need to have that enthusiasm, and that's why actually the breaks are just, if not more important than the training. So I think it's the way I run the program. I put the breaks in. So for example, after the Hague World Championships, definitely going to need a break. After the test event, going to need a break. And then you fit the training around that rather than the other way around. But the final one is to make it realistic. And this is why I walk into a laser top session. This is really what holds it all together, because if you've got the timing right and the specificity of the goal right and you're recording it, then you know whether it's realistic. And that realism is very important because it's tied into the excitement of the goal. If something is too easy to do, like you just want to go sailing every day, then there's no sense of accomplishment. If you make the goal completely unrealistic, unachievable, 50-kilo sailor going to Olympics in the Ilka 7, again, it's not a good goal. It needs to be realistic, and that's probably the hardest thing to quantify, but one of the most important things. So that's the end of the smarter goals, and that's the end of my little walk. You'll probably see in the background there's a Romanian sail up and flapping, so it's time for me to get on the water. Slightly longer talk than usual, and next month just needs to be getting ready for growing. See you all later on the show.
John Emmett sailing, get to the front of the fleet. How'd you like that, Julia?
I liked it. He's getting better and better.
He is indeed. Terrific stuff. Thanks, John. Thank you very much. As always, our most, what's the word I want? Prolific contributor.
Yes.
A video for every show. He also reminds us, if you haven't already, please like, follow, and share. Share to your own page, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook. Do it now so that it helps our numbers, and you won't forget later in the show. Thank you again, John Emmett. Julie, I was talking back and forth with John this morning, and you know, the Germans today announced there's been this big discussion about sending more arms to Ukraine, and the Germans announced they're going to send tanks now. I think the Allies, the West, thought that they could outlast Russia and ruin their economy, and that's obviously not happening. I told you at the dinner table on Sunday when we were watching the 49er football game that all this other stuff that's going on, the border and the economy and the stock market, I'm much more concerned, as is John, with what's going on in Ukraine.
Yes.
Big picture, long term. And I hope the bloody Chinese don't invade, or maybe they're not going to invade. Maybe they're just going to, what did we do to Cuba? Cuba!
Yeah.
Not quarantine, but when you surround with the warships. What's that called?
Barricade.
No.
Isolate.
No. Close. We'll see which of the foes he come up with that first.
Embargo.
No. Close. Blockade. Steve Groover got it.
Oh,
Boy,
yes.
he must have a quick internet connection.
Oh, yes.
Ken Saban he's calling you Miss Julia. He said, Miss Julia and the rest of the people primping for the snow. Yeah, they're going to get a bit of a snowstorm there in the blockade. They all got it. Holtzman, Saban, Worley, Chapin. Man, these smart guys all get it at the same time.
Yes.
So thanks for that, and thanks again, John Emmett, for that. Let's get into this ETNZ nosedive capsize. And you got to wonder, Ed Worley and others but Ed in particular were sending me notes after we saw the initial photos of this. And why didn't ETNZ comment on it? Why didn't they include it in their video? They got, we'll show you in a second, but they did do the big nosedive. If you're watching my Facebook page, and I don't remember if I put it on Sailing Illustrated or not, but here is the photo that I ran the other day, a couple days ago, from it's a screen grab from a video, and I think ETNZ didn't realize that one of our FOSI was out there taking a video of this whole incident, the whole episode, because here is what they did run as the thumbnail for their spy video, Emirates Team New Zealand. And of course, they control ACE, America's Cup events, and these spy videos or these recon videos. And they put on the video this picture, this thumbnail of the capsize, but do they include it in the video? Do they include it? There's a little bit of a mention back and forth, but no video of it. Have a look.
Blair, thanks for giving us your time. Obviously, integral part of the sailing team. We've had a wonderful day, light-ish, bottom end of the range kind of day. Got through the sails on the front and got some new crew on board. So yeah, talk us through how the day went for you guys.
Yeah, all in all, a really good day for us here. Yeah, southwesterly breeze or southwest. Got on the water about 10:30, I think, and yeah, sort of made our way out through the Rangitoto Channel, out a bit further, and then start off with Nate, Pete, Andy, and I on board, and then pretty quickly Joshy jumped on, and then from there we actually had Leonard and Liv join us on board at different times. So yeah, 7 of us on board the boat. So yeah, pretty cool day, and also a little bit of drama capsize there as well. So
yeah, well, it was obviously a mark grounding we were setting up for, and just got too high.
Yeah, just right in off Boraki, real close to poles there, and wind was sort of going anywhere between 6, I don't know what that gust was, maybe 14 knots or something, and just hit us just as we were bearing away, and we just didn't quite adjust on the control of the boat. But yeah, I mean, you get that's when you think you're getting it. It reminds you these boats are pretty hard to sail. So yeah, obviously a mistake and a little capsize, but obviously nice to get it back up and carry on sailing after that. Get a couple more laps in.
So yeah, so after the capsize, we noticed that it was less than 3 minutes on its side, straight back up. A little systems check, a couple of hatches opened and shut pretty quickly. After that, any issues? Any gremlins?
No, it was all good. We changed it down the jib size from there as well, and as the breeze built, and then continued for a couple of laps, but it's going good. And then just a bit wet under the jacket, and then back in now. So I don't know, that must have been like 4 or 5 hours out there. So
yeah, no, it was a decent session, and we clocked over 55 miles. So in 6 to 8 knots average breeze, mate, you're knocking it out of the park. Keep up the good work. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Cool.
You're knocking it out of the park. This guy makes some of you think Richard Gladwell's a bit of a homer, but I tell you, this guy, whoever that interviewer was, Julia, makes Richard look like a kindergartner. Rob Fry saying it's someone else's video. That picture was taken by the spy team that missed getting pics videos of the capsize itself. You think, Rob? I don't know, but maybe it could be. It's people are guessing that the recon group simply missed filming that spectacular moment. It's possible, but you would have thought they would have had more. It was very, very tenderly talked about in that video, and then to put the thumbnail on the video with the capsized boat. Well, here was the reaction on YouTube this morning, over the last 24 hours. Stephen, I don't know any of these people. Stephen Ballinger, some footage other than 5-second clips of straight line sailing would be appreciated. Maybe the capsize would make good content, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the capsize would make good content. A couple of thumbs up there from whoever Marco Ticci is. Tristan Kitty says, mention the capsize, and again, a complete failure to show the interesting bit. Who selects the footage? And why do we not get to see the interesting bits? 1 out of 10 video, useless. And Eric Bush calls it what it really is
Clickbait.
Clickbait. Commenting on the ETNZ YouTube video. Well, luckily for all of us, we have a super Fozy in Auckland who got it on tape, and here it is. Thanks to Justin Mitchell, who is a YouTuber and whose videos we have been following since the Cup. In fact, I don't think he's posted one since.
I haven't
Since
heard
the
his
Cup.
name for a while.
But I did look on his YouTube channel today.
Yeah.
I am subscribed to it. There's Morioho Stokes, a new name. Welcome. Now watch it. Here it is.
Woo.
Stingray saying they stuck the landing. Okay, now I'm going to play just the end of that video again and let you look at it.
Somebody said it looked like it was going to be a pitch pole.
Well, these boats don't pitch forward. But Ed Worley's saying it's not a capsize. Well, what do you call that, Ed? If that's not a capsize, it's over on its side. James Bland saying tripped on their lizard. Well, it's better than tripping on something else, I suppose. Now, Richard Gladwell covered it and covered it well in an article that he has written, and he has taken screen grabs from that video. Here is the first screen grab, and you can Google it. You can find the article. It's easy to find. Cup Spy, he calls himself now. Emirates Team New Zealand takes a high-speed dive. This from yesterday. Here is, I think, picture 6 or 7 in the sequence. And then picture 13, I think this is. And then in comes the chase boat to help them out. So, yeah, it's pretty dramatic stuff. And it did, as Richard points out in his article, it did test this newly reinstalled bow, strengthened bow. That, remember, the last time they did this, the bow, did the whole.
Yes.
Remember that, Julia?
Yep.
Did the whole banana thing in front of the bow. So, it's new stuff. And a lot of questions. Jody Shields saying, no big deal. I used to do it in my Moth all the time. Fritz Mueller's in Miami, replying, I guess, to himself, could have been healing to weather, overcorrected for turn. Now, I think they've got Ed Worley and others and Stingray lost steerage, rudder out of the water. But the reason they lost steerage and rudder out of the water, of course, was because the boat, the flight control, and whether the sailors are flying the boat, whether the computer's flying the boat,
you don't know.
You don't know. And that is one of the interesting questions in all this. Oh, Sail World NZL. So Richard Gladwell, that's Richard. They are all my own shots, not screen grabs. Okay, so Richard captured this as well.
Oh, good for him.
Good for him, indeed. Okay, Richard, thank you. I saw that you'd copyrighted the photos, but I didn't know if you'd talked to Justin and agreed that you could copyright the screen grabs. But and they were obviously from a distance, but well done, Richard Gladwell. Thank you. And yeah, James Bland, we're going to talk about the Finn Gold Cup in a sec. What other comments here? Clark Chapin, capsize, no capsize, potato, okay. The boat ended up on its side. It did not just roll over. Is that the difference between a come on, Ed, you're picking, as my dad used to say, fly shit. Fly shiza. You can shake your finger at me, Julia. You can shake your finger.
Yep.
Fly shiza out of pepper is what my dad used to say. You're picking that. Fly specks, I think, would be the more polite thing to say. Now, there's more.
Okay.
Our new friend, Tom Mozzie Morris, did this.
There's a shifty ramp coming here if ever I've seen it. I think he wants it. Yes!
The freestyle competition.
That is it. Stephen
added to the America's Cup Regatta. Tom gives it a 10.
There's a shifty ramp coming here if ever I've seen it. I think he wants it. Yes! And that is it, surely. That is it. Stephen Van Volkhoven has got the title here in first.
10. Yep, it's a 10, Stingray. Ed Worley's laughing. Steve Gruber, I'm not so sure who's flying these boats, whether there's an autopilot or not. We will know more. Much better visual analogs. I wonder if Richard Gladwell knows about the autopilot situation. Ken Saban saying, go ahead.
Yeah, no autopilots on the 75s.
Well, that's what Steve Gruber is saying, but I don't know if that is correct or not. Richard probably. We got to get Richard back on here. We haven't had him on in a long time. Well, thanks to that video from Tom Mozzie is his nickname. Tom Morris of Great Britain, who runs Mozzie Sales, and he's in Hailing Island, I think is where he is. Okay, so much for that. Let's get to this day in history. Do you know, Julia, what happened on this day in history in 1848? 3 years before AC0, before the first America's Cup.
Yes.
Here's your first clue. You recognize that? 1848.
Sutter's Mill.
Wow, you are really good. That's really good, Julia. Who was that as your second clue? Because of 1848, is that why you thought, or did you know that was Sutter's Mill? That's an actual photo of Sutter's Mill. You know who that is? He's the guy who discovered the gold there. James W. Marshall.
Oh, yeah. I didn't.
Who was he was a woodworker. He was a contractor. He was a carpenter, and he was helping build that mill when he discovered gold flakes in the river at Sutter's Mill up northeast of Sacramento. And what is that? El Dorado County, I guess. El Dorado County, up towards Lake Tahoe. On this day, the 24th of January, 1848, while working on construction of the mill, Marshall found flakes of gold in the South Fork of the American River. On February 2nd, before news of the discovery had arrived, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo was signed in Mexico City, which gave possession of this gave sovereignty of this area to the U.S. They didn't want Mexico to know about this.
Yes.
Not that it panned out to be all that much gold, but it was a bit anyway. 2 workers at the mill, Henry Bigler and Azariah Smith, were veterans of the Mormon Battalion and recorded their experience in journals, which led to, among other things, it led to the California Gold Rush from 1848 to 1855 and really put San Francisco on the map. Everybody wanted to come here and get rich quick.
Left all their ships in the harbor.
Yeah, well, this is a shot from 1850, and of course, a lot of those ships never left, and they're buried here in this financial district.
That's true.
And on the east side of town in San Francisco. But these are ships bringing the 49ers to San Francisco Bay in 1849, 50, and so on during the California Gold Rush. Now, Julia, what about the 49ers this past weekend?
They rushed to gold too.
Well, they're hopefully getting there. They're gold and red, of course. This is our football team, the San Francisco 49ers, and we can gloat a little bit. Those of you in Texas, I did send texts to you after the 49ers beat the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday to advance to what is the divisional final. The winners of these coming games, there's 4 teams left. The winners of those games will go to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, well, 3 weeks' time now, but 2 weeks from this weekend. Sunday, the 49ers defeated the esteemed Dallas Cowboys 19-12. The coach was not amused afterwards. Somebody said the only guy on the Dallas Cowboys team that could deliver a proper stiff arm was the coach afterwards, stiff arming the cameraman. Congratulations to our Fosey in Cincinnati, because your team, the Cincinnati Bengals, won in the snow. And, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles, Mary Jude Szymanski will be happy about that, because that's who we, the 49ers, go to play. But enough of all that. This was the Bengals, the Cincinnati team, and boys will be boys once they won the game in the snow in Buffalo. Making snow angels. Boys will be boys. You got to have a little fun, right?
Yeah. I think it takes gumption to play in the snow anyway.
Well, both teams played, people argue the Buffalo Bills, they were on their home turf, didn't play particularly well. But we'll see what happens this coming weekend. I'm not too, as you know, I'm not too optimistic about playing the Philadelphia Eagles.
I know. They're good.
They look pretty good.
They play a little different style, which worries me. Somebody's going to win on style points, and I'm not sure who that
style
is.
points?
Yeah.
They're going to win on points on the scoreboard.
I know, but the style of football they play.
Okay, well, you know more about it than I do.
I don't.
I'm just a simple country boy from Michigan who's a sailor and a hockey player. The comments are flowing in here. Well, Mozzie is gold. Rob Fry, yeah, he is. He's doing some good analysis as well. Go to his YouTube channel. Sutter's Mill, Ed Worley got a gold strike. He got it. When did they discover the Golden Gate Bridge? How old is it, Julia?
1937.
In the 30s. It was part of the Depression era federal spend, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. There's still lots of gold around there. We have gold panned there. We have panned gold there, I think.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the football team is some coaches. So the cameraman is defying gravity. Did he manage to remain standing? I have no idea. John Emmett, he's coached yourself to win. Robbie Gould. Speaking of gold, I've never made the connection before. Robbie Gould is the, Julie, as you know, is the field goal kicker for the 49ers. Gould. Spelled Gould, but he pronounces it Gold.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed that. Did the 69ers score this weekend? Yes, that's why they're called the 49ers, because of the gold rush. They're not the San Francisco 69ers. Remember that Australian clip from a couple weekends ago? Gumption, gumption isn't all that's needed to play American football outdoors. Yeah, you need brass cojones, I think. Tough sport. Well, this is a tough sport, too. This was Viva Mexico completing the lineup. They took 2 days off to repair their torn mainsail. Eric Brockman's team slips across the finish line in Cape Verde early this morning, actually on the 24th, about 0200 local. And here is the race report from a couple days ago. As you know, Team Wholesome PRB won leg 1 in the Imoca fleet. Again, I don't know why I have to voice this. Jody, you should be voicing this. Kevin Escoffier's team came through fast and furious conditions and won by almost 3 hours from their nearest rivals. Bravo Zulu to them. We told you that on Friday. Team Wholesome PRB held off a sustained challenge from 11th Hour Racing and Team Malizia. Well, I wouldn't get carried away.
Fast.
They led handily.
I'm happy with the speed of the boat, even if the crew has been very, very good. It was worse than expected, for a first leg. I think it was definitely a tough one. We had the wind, we had the condition, we had the boat, we had everything to do this great leg, and I hope you enjoyed it.
11th Hour Racing came in second, followed by Team Malizia in third. Biotherm and Guyot Environment, Team Europe languished behind. In the VO65 fleet, as you know, Wind Whisper were closing in on Friday. We told you they were like the likely winner, and they did win. This race report from a couple 2.5 days ago, maybe 3 days ago. The Imoca fleet will leave tomorrow, Wednesday, to start leg 2 to go see Ted Ryman in Cape Town. And that is the latest race report. They haven't issued another one since that one from a couple, 3 days ago. They did, just before we went to air, issue long videos kind of recapping what was just going on. But, too long, and frankly, we've seen a lot of video already of boats out crashing on the waves in the start and so on. So I did not run those videos. They did have a press conference today. I listened to a little bit of it on the YouTube channel. It was interesting. They wrote an article about it, but there's only 5 skippers. There's only 5 boats continuing now. The Imoca 60s are continuing. The VO65s are not. And the press conference today, the Imoca 60 skippers, and they are from left to right. The winner of leg 1, Kevin Escoffier, who has got a lot of experience in this race, in the Round the World race, on Wholesome PRB. Charlie Enright is second. This is the order in which they finished. Charlie Enright there, the American, on 11th Hour Racing, second from the left. Will Harris in the middle, representing Team Malizia. Boris Herman's team. Paul Mielhot on Biotherm, and Robert Stanjek on Geo Environment. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Help me if I'm not. Team Europe, and they will start tomorrow. If you're in Europe, you can watch it on, it's an hour and a half delayed. You can watch it on Eurosport. Starts at 18:10 UTC, which is 17:10 local time, in Cape Verde, Cabo Verde. And in most of Europe and many parts of Asia, you can watch it live on Eurosport. They say live, beginning at 17. Okay, I guess it is live. That's good. 17:30 UTC. So you get about a 40-minute run-up prior to the actual start. And you can watch it live or later on demand on the Eurosport player. But you can also watch it in other territories, meaning here in the U.S. and I assume down under. You can watch the live start on the Ocean Race YouTube channel. But please note that due to coverage on the Eurosport platforms, this YouTube stream will be geo-blocked in Europe and Asian territories with Eurosport coverage. So
okay,
it'll be hit and miss wherever you are watching the start tomorrow at 18:10 UTC, I think they said. We have a nice Julia, your favorite Aussie, one of your favorite Aussies.
Yes.
But maybe
Alistair.
We have from Alistair his latest. We've actually got another one in the can that's an evergreen that is a terrific piece. I'll run in due course. But Alistair today caught up with the winners of the Australian. These kids are wonderful. 420, at a hotly contested 420 Nationals a couple weeks ago at his club out in Metung. And here's a really nice interview with these kids, who it was a fight to the finish. The Aussie 420 champs, James Jackson is the helm, and Harrison Chapman on the wire. Enjoy.
G'day, Tom and Julia and the team at Sailing Illustrated. All the FOSI. Now, FOSI is Friends of Sailing Illustrated. This segment is AAAA, which is Alistair's Awesome Aussie Anecdote. And I'm thrilled for a really quick chat, to be standing here with Harrison and James, who have just won the 420 Nationals here at Metung. So, Harrison, congratulations.
Thanks,
James,
Alistair.
congratulations. Great effort on a countback, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't get any closer than that. How did you do it? What you go first, James. What was the key to your victory?
I think for us, sticking to our processes and keeping it simple.
Yeah.
We haven't done a lot of 420 sailing this year. We used to do a lot of it. We've moved into the 470, but a little bit of cross training for performance and increasing our racing skills. So keeping it simple, keeping to the processes, and going fast. Yeah.
Go fast helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, the pressure was critical.
Yeah. Going fast makes your tactics look good.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah, for sure.
And Harrison, what do you think of Metung and the conditions that you've sailed in? Was it a factor? Like, were you better in the lighter or the heavier?
We're not too sure what conditions best suit us. We thought the pumping had held fast, and once the pumping flag came up, we worked our way back in the fleet. But we sailed out of Metung once before and had a brilliant time, and this has been no different.
Yeah. And where do you go from here, James?
Yeah, so
what do you aspire to in sailing, and what are your short-term goals?
The Olympic pathway is definitely the pathway we're both on. Harrison's in the Futures program here, and I'm aspiring to be in that in the near future.
Yeah.
So we've got Sail Melbourne in the 470 next week, and then we have 470 Nationals coming up soon after that. So it'll just be linking up events, finding good crew to sail with, and yeah, I think for us, going overseas and getting some racing practice and getting more experience, keep having fun.
Yeah. And Harrison?
I'm in a very similar path to James. I have got myself a skipper, like James is still searching for a long-term solution, but we're along a very similar path in the Olympic journey.
Tom Eamon, who hosts this, we have a lot of discussions about the controversial decision of Mobile World Sailing and the class selection, whatever. If it was a men's 470, you two might have gone in that path, but now you can't.
Would have been guaranteed that we'd be sailing together.
Yeah. So, that is what it is. It's all part of the fun and makes it all the more exciting. It's definitely a slightly different dynamic that we're finding. And I love it personally. I think it's a great opportunity. It is challenging with the male skipper and the female crew dynamic for the 470, but we enjoy it. It was nice having the 470 male and female, but you can't have it all, I guess. And times are changing, and we embrace it. Yeah.
Now, one of the great things about this regatta has been the sailing families that are here. James is part of a sailing family, and Harrison isn't. In fact, Harrison's dad, Nick, is an old mate of mine. He's actually holding the camera and filming this. So, well done to all of the sailing.
Hi guys.
Oh, you had to do that, didn't you? And he's pretty ugly. I was hoping he wouldn't do that. But,
do you look in the mirror?
Anyway, we'll sign out on that and just say, once again, congratulations, James and Harrison. That's a fantastic achievement. I was out on the water watching it. Your boat handling skills, your tactics, everything you do on the water is fantastic, and I'm sure you're destined for bigger and better things, and I'm going to look forward to watching you guys achieve.
Thank you, Alistair.
Good on you, thank you, and
cheers.
Good on you, Nick, for doing the filming. See you, Tom and Julia.
Cheers.
Bye.
Another one of Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdotes. Terrific stuff. Nice kids. And, the father of, was it Harrison? Sort of reminds me of David Price of Pricey.
Oh.
You know, I think this guy that was the cameraman, must be the Melbourne version of David Price at Pricey, who's a real character. Wasn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
Alistair, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote. As I say, we've got one in the can as well. Yeah, we can take that's the Australian Naval Band, I think, playing. What's that song called, Julia?
I don't know.
Da 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 da. Yes, you do. Da 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 da.
Oh yeah.
You'll go
Waltzing Matilda.
Waltzing Matilda with me. Thanks, Alistair. Good stuff. Great stuff. We're just about an hour into the show here. It's 13:57 here in San Francisco. And we hope you're enjoying show number 586. We're going to get to 600 shows here pretty quick, Julia. 600 shows. And we're just an hour. Going to be an hour, a little bit of shorter show than usual. Maybe that's good for all of us. The last leg, we're here. And we have nothing more than this one slide. I haven't seen any videos yet, but they're all gathering in Miami for the Finn Gold Cup. They've had already check-in and measurement, all that stuff's going on from as of, I guess, yesterday and today, and racing starts on the 27th. We'll be covering that, of course, because the Finn class is one of our favorite classes, and Robert Deves, who's their PR, is one of our favorite PR guys in the sport. And I don't know if James Frederick Bland, who's a Finn sailor, is going to be there. Any of the others of you, Peter McDonald, who's a Finn sailor, I don't know. But I know that Peter Sangmeister, John Sangmeister's son, one of his three sons, is going to be there. And we'll be covering that, which gets us to the D block. And yes, this guy is still alive, Julia. And whoever said he wasn't alive, was it my mother? What's his name? Richard Goldsmith? We're going to track him down, but we did look after the show, right?
I did.
Did you track him down?
Yeah, but not with that.
He might be an eligible bachelor, Julie. You never know.
I don't
he might be an eligible, but maybe that's who's been calling Julie all this time.
Well, I wish it were.
On her. Okay. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. This first one. Who else would send something this clever but Ryman? Finally, we're home. Hope the monkeys didn't touch anything. Come on, you got to admit that's funny.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Thanks to Ted Ryman for that one. And the next one, Julia, this is political commentary. This is from Denise Peterson. Mom, what is a contradiction? Well, dear, that's believing that 18-year-olds couldn't understand their student loans, but 7-year-olds can choose their gender. Come on, that's funny. That's right. I dedicate that one to you. I thought you really think that was pretty clever.
Well, it's good.
Huh?
It is good.
I'll tell you, some of the social commentary here in this country is astonishing. These days, thanks to Denise Peterson for that. I couldn't resist. Gordon Smith, you'd think poorly of me if I didn't run something. And I get, these come in over the door, under the door.
Yeah, the transfer.
And the email, in the Facebook messaging, in WhatsApp. I get so many of these, I had to run at least one. And then he kicked my sandcastle, and this is clean. And then he kicked my sandcastle over at the beach and said, "That's because you'll never have one." You think that's cruel? Hey, did you see about his whole in the book about I'm going to find the Elizabeth Arden cream? Did you see that?
No.
I'm not going to say anything more than that because it is so Freudian. It's just astonishing. It's what his mother used on his late great mother, the princess Diana used it apparently on her lips and mouth. This Elizabeth Arden cream. And you know where he used it? I'll see if the Fozy know. I'll let them put it.
Oh, no.
I don't want any more discussions, Julia, about Todgers on here. It's unbelievable. Okay, it is the end of the show. We're a little punchy, even though it's only an hour in. Thanks, Ed Worley, for that. Now, this one is from Holtzman, Joe Holtzman, my longtime friend. It's the first one, for his first submission. I thought you would enjoy this, and it's clean. Is it running?
Good morning.
There we
Good
go.
morning, sir. Welcome to Carrington's Gym. How can I help you today?
Hi. Well, it's my first day here,
Yes.
doing some weight training,
Mhm.
and I wondered if you could recommend which is the machine best to use to help me impress the ladies.
Well, sir, that's easy. There's an ATM machine just down the entrance.
Isn't that good?
It's perfect.
I thought that was good.
Yes.
Joe Holtzman, thank you very much for sending
is
that
good.
one.
Yeah.
And finally, Julia, look at this. No vinophobia, the fear of running out of wine.
Ah, yes.
That's from Alistair Murray. And then I stuck another one in. But Alistair, thank you for that. He being a connoisseur, a fine wine drinker down there in Oz. And since this is the drinking show of the Sailing Habit, I have one more. This from Clark Chapin. Prohibition agent Izzy Einstein bragged that he could find liquor in any city in under 30 minutes. In Chicago, it took him all of 21 minutes. In Atlanta, 17. And Pittsburgh, just 11. But New Orleans, the Big Easy, New Orleans set the record, 35 seconds. Einstein asked his taxi driver where to get a drink, and the driver handed him one.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness. Thanks, Clark Chapin, for sending that along. What are the comments here, Julia?
And the great tradition of travelers.
Julia, what comments do you want to read? James Bland saying ATM, perfect. That's the best machine. Gordon Smith's laughing. Ed Worley's laughing. And J. Frederick Bland, a lizard is a short length. I didn't know this. Look at this. A short length of rope. You see that, Julia?
Yep.
You want to read that?
With hard eyes spliced into one end. The other end can be hitched to another rope or chain, say, and by passing a further, I can't.
A further rope through the eye, you can get the purchase of a single whip for a good heave.
Aha.
A good heave. That ties into our opening.
Heave ho.
About. Okay. You can, Steve Gruber saying, you can say things to your brother that no one else could and you could get away with. That is true. I missed Saturday's show. Did you chat about the golden handshake, Jody Shields? Okay. Didn't Dickens write about the artful Todger? Who said that?
Yeah.
Graham Sweeney. Graham got on a little late. I'm sorry about the notification, Graham. Like a barber hauler. Okay, they're getting clever here. Getting clever, salty. Okay, enough of all that. That gets us to, well and truly to the finish line for today's show. And again, I just love this shot. Maybe I'll change that up for the next show. Julia, your witness.
Yes. Don't miss this opportunity to like, follow, and share, particularly to your own website.
Yeah, your own Facebook page or to your YouTube channel. Thank you very much for joining us. If you want to support us, you can support us via Patreon. Become a patron, patreon.com/join/sailing illustrated. Give us a few bucks a month. Helps us pay the bills to buy this equipment and pay for the internet and pay for a couple of the other services we need to stay on the air. Julia, last thoughts?
No, I don't actually today. I'm sorry. Things are slowing up and also going by very fast.
What does that mean?
Well,
what does that mean?
Time is fleeting.
Well, when you get old like we are, time goes faster and faster.
It
there's
does.
a whole psychological reason for that. I've read the explanation any number of times. Thank you, everybody. I hope time is going slowly for you. Have a nice rest of your week, wherever in the world you are. And we'll see you. Thanks, Alistair Murray. He's saying cheers. We really appreciated his piece. And we hope to see you all on Friday when our guest will be, once again, will be Commodore Beau Froelich of St. Francis Yacht Club. He lives down in Santa Cruz. He's also got an apartment this year up here in San Francisco because he's going to be spending a lot of time as Commodore of the esteemed St. Francis Yacht Club. We're going to talk about his beautiful boat, as we said at the top of the show, about the former owner, about David Crosby, who the late great who just passed away in the last week. And a number of, this guy's a very smart guy, a venture capitalist who knows a lot about tech. He's related somehow. his daughter married? No, not his daughter, but he's somehow related to Stan Honey. They're very close. And I think he'll have some insights on some of the things Stan Honey has been up to and will be up to.
Great.
And we'll look forward to having Commodore Froelich with us, won't we?
We will.
On Friday. Mm-hmm. In the meantime, have a great rest of your week. And wherever in the world you are, and if you can, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now.